You are watching Pause. We pause for a second or two. How do we keep life coherent when so much is changing? This is episode 264, Acute Goal Authority. This month, on Pause, we are talking about goals. We're talking about 5 different goals we can have by pausing. And each of these 5 goals are correlated to one typical kind of situation. And these 5 typical situations we will see all throughout life. They are constants. They always come back again and again. So today we are talking about this one. Authority. Authority is our acute goal. It is our goal for our acute situation. Acute situations are when we are suddenly startled or caught off guard, or when we are suddenly approached by someone or something. And if you're interested in learning more about the situation itself, you can go back 1 month and there is an episode about our acute situation. This is the symbol or image for authority. It is 2 people, stylized, like one of them old cave paintings from 40,000 years ago or something like that. And you can see that one of the persons there has a number 2 on them. And the other person has a number 1 on them. Number 2 and number 1. Number 1 and number 2. 2 people. We are seeing right now, all throughout society, we are seeing many examples of people contending, people competing with one another as to who has the greater claim, who has the more rightful claim to a given piece of land, to a given place, to a given room. But also who has the greater claim or the more rightful claim to a given piece of material, a given piece of some object. If I put my hand right now on this cube, it's a strong signal that I am claiming this wooden cube. I'm claiming authority over this cube. But if I let it go, I'm kind of inviting that someone else claim the cube. I'm stepping back. We are seeing just so many examples right now of this going on. People claiming or competing over the same piece of land or place or the same object, the same thing. And both parties, if sometimes there's more than one, more than two, but both parties are in the process of determining who is number one and who is number two. Who has the greater claim? Who should stay and who should go? Who gets the resources? Who gets the food? Who is number one and who is number two? And it gives rise to a lot of violence, a lot of conflict, a lot of acute situations. We're talking about our acute goal today, our acute situation. We pause and work towards a solid sense of judging relative authorities. So this is our practice of acute goal authority. We pause and work towards a solid sense. A solid sense of judging relative authorities. So basically, all authorities are relative to each other. Philosophically, or maybe in a real sense even, I can only think of one authority, one physical authority, which is absolute. And that is our planet, Earth. As I'm sitting here on this planet, it is an absolute truth that the planet is a greater authority than I am. The planet is bigger, the planet is heavier, the planet has a greater gravitational pull, The planet has been around for longer. The planet knows more than I do. The planet is connected to more people than I am. The planet is important to more people than I am. The planet keeps more people alive than I do. The planet is more interesting than I am. And so on. And as I'm sitting here, it is important that I am in touch with that. That when I pause here and work towards a solid sense of judging the relative authorities here, it is very clear that I am inferior to the planet. I am supposed to follow the planet, not the other way around. I am not the authority here. The planet is. But then, when we talk about the relative authorities of you and me, then it's more difficult. Because neither of us is any absolute authority. It's all relative. And it is fluctuating. Our authority, as perceived both by us and by others, is sort of going up and down. It's tricky like that. It's difficult to judge. It's really challenging. But what we do here, acute goal authority, is that we have as an ambition to pause and work towards a solid sense of judging. So perhaps our authority in itself is not solid. It goes up and down. But we can at least try to complement our authority with having a solid sense of judging it. Most of the time, in our modern day, most people try to maximize their authority, try to become as powerful as possible. Or many people try to become as passive as possible, as inferior as possible, to not be in charge, to not be the authority. And then we have this. Authority is how we accept our real size. So, when it comes to these competitions we're seeing all over the world right now, all parties try to project a certain size. Some parties try to project that they are bigger than they really are. Other parties try to project that they are smaller than they are. And that's one thing, what we try to project in order to try to fool the other one, to try to catch the other one off guard, to try to create an acute situation for the other. That's one thing in harsh times. But what we are talking about here, authority, acute goal authority, in a pausing sense, is that it's not about what we project, but it's about knowing our real size, accepting our real size. It's about not fooling ourselves. So as I am sitting here, I have a real size. And I will never know how you perceive me. But I will know how big or how small I am. And it is important that we are as truthful as we can about not making pretensions, not fooling ourselves at least. And this is a difficult task, especially in these turbulent times when a lot of stuff is scary. It is scary to accept our real size, because in turbulent times we often want to fool ourselves. It is difficult to be truthful to ourselves. That is why authority is a goal and not something we will achieve perfectly. We will constantly strive towards having such a solid sense of judgment. So, in a sense, our sense of judgment of authority, both our own and of the other, it will go hand in hand with our fear, how scared we are about things. And acute situations will always happen all throughout life. We cannot evade them completely. Of course, we might be able to minimize them in some respects, but they tend to find us whether we like it or not. So when they find us, it's about this, determining who in this acute situation is number one and who is number two. Because getting this wrong, who's number one and number two, in an acute situation, possibly a violent situation, that is serious. Especially in these times when people are highly stressed. Authority is how we accept our real size. We have a real size. Just as the planet has a real size, we have a real size. And my experience is that when we get in touch with our weight down into the planet, down into the ground, as I'm doing now in this moment, I get a sense of my real size. So if we do this when we are meeting with another person, grounding ourselves, we get a very direct and instant sense of our real size. And then we will just know in our gut what to do. That's authority. That's it for today. Thank you.